My pocket has the sound. My pocket has the sound. Sound, pocket. Sound, pocket. Sound, pocket. Ooh. Say hi. Want to smile? Smile and say cheese. Cheese. Oh, you can show some belly button? Wow. All right, Salty Dog says, what are your thoughts on the new NSAC rules, and do you think having those in place when you were fighting would have affected any of the outcomes? That's a good question. Would it have affected the outcomes? I think the only one it probably would have affected was Igor Zinoviev, the guy threw on his head, because they outlawed that. But past that, I've been very rule-oriented and fighting kind of inside the rules of the game, and they haven't changed all that much for, since 1998. So I don't think so. That's my answer. And Chuck says, in the 1990s, you won a lot of bouts by submission with leg locks, knee bars, and heel hooks. In total, you have 14 submission wins and only 2 TKO wins. How does Chuck know this? Chuck is a good dude. Yet it seems you have abandoned submissions in favor of striking. Would you agree? And if so, would you have made the switch? Yeah, that's a good question. Well, Chuck, here's my deal. Back in the 90s, people sucked at submission, so it was really easy to get them positionally, and strategically there was a lot of holes in styles where submission holds would plug in. And then starting in the late 90s, all that filled in, and the game got sort of wrapped up into a complete game. I hit my thing, sorry. Sort of got wrapped up. So the submission game got much, much harder. So it's not so much that I abandoned the submission game, it's just that it got harder to do. And as I studied more and learned more, I learned that striking was the easier way to hurt somebody, and it would take less energy. So I organically sort of became striking oriented. Answer your question. Oh, we got a lot of questions. Chuck, you got more questions. Hold on. Chuck says you've been open about the damaged ligaments in your knees. Are your knees so injured that you can really no longer win against skilled opponents on the ground? God, I hope not. No, I mean, my knees are fine. My left knee, I got ACL issues, and it's basically gone. A lot of the tendons have deteriorated, but it doesn't affect my training in any way, and it doesn't affect my submission game in any way. I just don't run anymore because it hurts my back. Chuck also says, in the 1990s, your stamina and conditioning was often superior to your opponents. Are you as fit now as you were 10 years ago? Generally speaking, are your competitors more fit than they used to be? So, of course, I'm not fit as I was 10 years ago, although look at these arms. I have to say they're looking bulbous this morning. No, we get old. I'm absolutely not the fighter physically conditioned I was back then, but I have different type of conditioning now and a different type of approach to it, so I think it's even better. And are the competitors much more fit? Absolutely, they're 100%. The level of athlete in mixed martial arts has gone really from being your average dude to a professional athlete in about 10 years. So everybody you fight is going to be a high-level professional athlete, and that's one of the big differences now. Is that a squirrel? All right, question. You've been criticized by Renzo Gracie, among others, for having a poor takedown offense. Do you think this criticism is valid? Aren't you concerned about losing fights on points when you allow your opponent to take you down, especially since most of your fights now consist of 3-minute rounds? That's a really good question, actually. Yeah, my takedown defense does suck. I've never focused on it or saw it as an area of concern, and mainly because I came from a grappling style. So I, in learning striking, just struck as hard as I could, as much as I could, and if I went to the ground, I accepted it because I was really good on the ground. I will have to shift that now that I'm into 3-round fights, because I don't have that term and that time to kind of play a full game out. But so I will be adjusting and making that takedown harder to do. But I don't think I'm going to be like, Mr. Wrestler guy trying to stop takedowns. I like the game as it progresses to the ground, and to me it doesn't matter where we go. Another question. In the Baroni fight, I believe you took a lot of unnecessary damage at the end of round 1 and round 2 because you went for the TKO instead of the submission. Do you agree? Well, I agree. I took unnecessary damage. Any of the damage was unnecessary. But no, I went for the hold. I went for the choke. I went for submission locks. But Bill was just really, really strong. The problem with me in that fight is I had the blown out ACL, so I had a very limited conditioning base, and I didn't have 15 minutes. I only had about 7 or 8. So I had to press it in a way that was strategic and damaged him while it damaged me less, because I wasn't going to make it for very long. So I took the damage knowing that I had to, or we weren't getting out of there, or I wasn't getting out of there as the winner. In the first round of the Diaz fight, you escaped Diaz's attempt to mount. Why did you throw punches instead of jumping on his back and working the ground game? Why did you throw punches instead of jumping on his back and working the ground game? I have no idea. Probably because I was tired and had horrible rib pain. So I don't really know. I haven't actually gone back and watched that fight, so I can't, and I don't have any conscious memory of it. But probably because my ribs were hurting me and I was thinking I should try to kill this person. Question, James Ray asks, are you still hungry and can you come back with all those injuries? God, I hope so. No, no, I'm always hungry. I really, this is what I want to do forever. And I've had these injuries. It's not like, I mean, I've had a few in recent years, but I had a broken back before I ever started fighting. And they told me I'd never fight. They told me I'd never play sports or do anything. So I don't think the injuries are going to stop me from doing what I want to do. I think just maybe getting old and my brain getting retarded is going to stop me. But other than that, injuries aren't going to stop me. All right, Sean Morit has a question. Assuming you have 5 fights left in your career, wait, who's assuming this? Who are these? Sean, what is wrong with you, man? Who would you enjoy smashing most and why? Well, assuming I was old and only had 5 fights left in my career, Sean. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I want to fight Diaz again. I want to fight Kung. I want to fight, I like Matt Lindland. I like Vitor Belfort. He's kind of scary. I like all those middleweight scary dudes. Smashing them, I would like to compete with them and smash them later. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'll be 39. There you go. I see myself being 39. No, I'll still be fighting, commentating and teaching and basically, I guess, doing what I've been doing for the past 10 years and raising babies. I don't really have any super plans behind that, besides that. Joe says, what is a typical week of training in camp for a fight? And how would you split your time into different parts? That's a good question. I do about 2 sessions a day, and that's about 2 hours per session. The morning is weights, vascular training, stretching, conditioning. And then the evening is my mixed martial arts training. And when you talk about splitting different arts, we don't really split them up. We just kind of mix them all together. And then the days that we do split things up will be more like a ground day and a stand-up day than really like an actual art or an actual style. And then most of the stuff is drilling and conditioning and repetition and partner drills. And then sparring is probably 10% of what we do. That's the real secret there. 6 days a week, 300 days a year. That's how you do it. Here, it's all better. It's all better. Yeah, see? You're all better.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
You're all better now. You want to go play with the ducks?
Yeah.
Go right there. See? Right there. Go say hi, duck, duck. I should follow her.